win. The threat from the so-called mega-tsunamis, like the one awaiting us off the coast of Africa, is not the only bad news from nature. Residents of our planet's northern hemisphere have only recently been learning about the catastrophic threat of supervolcanoes, like the active one in our very own American Yellowstone Park, which has defoliated North America and wiped out most of the world's food supply during its last, and most likely not, final eruption. But over the last several years, geologists have told the UK government that the country risks being hit by a giant wave of water that could destroy many coastal communities. And I think that if you have viewed our previous videos, we have talked about how islands and coastlines are no longer safe.
Well, folks, what she's getting at, I know you're confused at this point, is that volcanic eruptions happen with a certain frequency. It may happen in our lifetime, and it may not. But the point is, we like to be prepared. We don't like to live in fear, nor do we want you guys to live in fear. Like we say, you know, you don't get scared, you get prepared. All right. Even though that article talks about that volcano, what we're here to talk about tonight is the island of La Palma, and it's in the Canary Island chain, and it's a volcanic island. And the BBC came out with a study on that by a couple of guys. Let me see. Gosh, I should have marked it. I'm sorry. Well, anyway, these gentlemen went over there and they did a 3 or 4 part series that was published on BBC, and it scared the hell out of a lot of people. And she's going to read you a little bit more about it now. And
Good stuff.
Yeah, and then I'm going to give you the rebuttal published by another outfit. Go ahead, Eugenia.
Okay. Good meaning interesting, by the way, and noteworthy. Experts at the University College London have contacted the Science Minister, Lord Sainsbury, to warn him that a collapsing volcano in the Canary Islands could send a wall of water hundreds of meters high sweeping out over the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so we're talking about Florida being affected and probably the
entire eastern seaboard.
The devastation would be so widespread that not only the east coast of the U.S. and the Caribbean would be submerged by the event, but also parts of Great Britain would succumb to the disaster. Modeling by colleagues in Switzerland shows that a landslide could trigger a so-called mega-tsunami, which has an initial wave height of over 2,000 feet and moves out over the ocean at speeds up to 450 miles an hour. By the time such a wave crosses the Atlantic, its power would have diminished, but it could still wreak havoc up to 12 miles inland.
12 miles.
Can't happen? Think again. In 1958, a rock slide created wave in Alaska, more than 1,500 feet high, smashed into the coastal community of Lituya Bay. That's Lituya Bay.
Let me stop you there. There's a video on YouTube about that if you care to watch it. And there's also a father and son that were on their boat that actually rode that wave inland and survived it. And their boat ended up a couple of miles inland up in the trees. So folks, you know, this isn't sensationalism. These things do happen. Will it happen to you? I don't know. Is there a possibility? Distinctly, yes, there is. Or
the mass of rock striking the surface of the bay created a giant splash which sent water surging to a height of 1,720 feet across the point opposite the inlet, and we're talking about Gilbert Inlet. This initial sheet of water stripped all vegetation from the point, leaving a bare rock face. The mega-tsunami from La Palma could devastate Americans from Boston to Miami in one splash. In 1998, a huge tsunami caused a landslide underwater.
No, caused by
a landslide underwater submerged large parts of Papua New Guinea, killing an estimated 2,000 people. I mean, these are devastating events.
Okay. That BBC citation, I want you to give them. Okay, this article by the BBC can be found at http://www usc.edu/department/Alaska/webpages/webpages/index.html. Now that's her side of it. Could it happen? Yeah. Actually, we saw that in Florida, and one of the reasons we left Florida because we realized we're only a few feet above sea level. And 12 miles inland takes about the extent of the population. It maybe goes in 20 miles before you hit the Everglades. So yeah, if it hit the eastern seaboard, we'd have a hell of a mess. It would take the resources of the entire world, helping us many years to recover from such an event. But folks, you know, to give you both sides, here is an article that is found at http://www.lapalma/tsunami.com/. It's entitled La Palma Tsunami